Workers in tertiary institutions in Kaduna State have a reason to celebrate, as the state governor, Uba Sani, has increased their salaries by 70%. Wow, 70%. I am Abulu Osemwahu. Welcome to your #1 labor program from Africa to the rest of the world, the Tripartite, where we focus on the worker, the employer, and government policies as they affect the workers' well-being. Now, in our package for today, we'll let you know that the Nigerian government is engaging youths in several skills acquisition to make them self-reliant to bridge the gap of unemployed. Did you know it was UN Day? And what is Antonio Guterres telling the world?
We, the peoples of the United Nations. These are not just the opening words of the United Nations Charter. They define who we are. The United Nations is more than an institution. It is a living promise, spanning borders, bridging continents, inspiring generations. For 80 years, we have worked to forge peace, tackle poverty and hunger, advance human rights, and build a more sustainable world together. As we look ahead, we confront challenges of staggering scale, escalating conflicts, climate chaos, runaway technologies, and threats to the very fabric of our institution. This is no time for timidity or retreat. Now more than ever, the world must recommit to solving problems no nation can solve alone. On this UN Day, let's stand together and fulfill the extraordinary promise of your United Nations. Let's show the world what it is possible when we, the peoples, choose to act as one.
My name is Mohammed Megardi Gadi, the Minister of Labor and Employment. You are watching the Tripartite program on AIT.
Did you know is next?
Did you know?
Understanding Nigeria's landing and exit card. Effective May 2025, Nigeria modernized its immigration process by replacing paper-based forms with mandatory digital landing and exit cards. The cards, which function as a digital check-in and check-out, are required for all non-Nigerian travelers and certain dual citizens. The digital landing and exit cards must be completed through the official Nigeria Immigration Service portal. All foreign passport holders entering or departing Nigeria, by air, land, or sea, must complete both a landing card before arrival and an exit card before departure. This applies to all visa types, including e-visas and traditional visas issued by embassies. Nigerians holding a second passport must complete the cards if they plan to use their non-Nigerian passport for travel. Nigerians traveling on the Nigerian passport do not need to fill out the landing card upon entry but must complete the exit card when leaving the country. Citizens of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, are exempted from the e-visa requirement, but it is wise to verify if the digital card is still needed for their entry-exit process. You must complete the online form within 72 to 96 hours before your flight. Every traveler, including children, must have their own individual form. The information provided must be accurate and match your travel documents exactly, including your name, date of birth, and passport number. An incorrect submission could make the card invalid and require resubmission. After submitting the form, you will receive an email confirmation that should be downloaded and either printed or saved on your mobile device. You will be required to present this confirmation at immigration checkpoint. The digital card system is designed to streamline the immigration process and enhance border security. Digital submissions reduce wait times and paperwork upon arrival and departure, as immigration officials can pre-process traveler information. The system allows the Nigeria Immigration Service, NIS, to better monitor the duration of a visitor's stay and automatically identify overstays, which can trigger penalties such as visa bans. By requiring completion before travel, airlines can confirm a passenger has the necessary documentation before boarding, preventing delays and issues at the port of entry. Visit the official Nigeria Immigration Service Landing and Exit Cards portal. Choose Arrival for a landing card or Departure for an exit card. Fill out the required personal details, including your passport number, personal information, contact information, and travel plans. Submit the form and save the confirmation that is sent to your email address. Repeat the process for a new form each time you travel into or out of Nigeria. We hope this information will be useful to all labor migrants, workers, employers, skilled labor, students, and businesses.
Here today on behalf of the Secretariat of the ILO Global Business and Disability Network to present our latest publication titled Care to Compete, Corporate Policies and Practices on Care and Support for Employees with Disabilities and Employees with Dependents with Disabilities. So before deep diving into the publication itself, I want to extend our gratitude to key actors involved in the production of the report, namely our lead researcher, Rubina Singh, ILO's care economy specialists, Laura Adati, Lorena Pastor Palacios, and Mia Toma, ILO senior specialists in the Bureau for Employers Activities, Jae-hee Chang, the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency for their financial support, Christian Tasso for the design and accessibility of this publication, Purple Space in reaching out to disability employee resource groups, and last but definitely not least, all company representatives who took their time to share their insights, research, and experiences through interviews. We are very happy to have AXA, Capgemini, NG, HSBC, and L'Oreal joining us today, as my colleague Jürgen mentioned. Now into the report. This is a publication that provides business-focused insights into care and support policies and practices as they relate to employees with disabilities and employees with dependents with disabilities. There are 6 main themes that arise from the report's analysis. Number 1, aligning care policies with workforce needs allows for stronger retention and productivity. We found a strong correlation between care and support policies and job satisfaction, which has direct implications for retention of employees and their productivity. For this reason, companies can position care policies as core to workforce strategy. Where possible, align care policies with environmental, social, and governance, and diversity, equity, and inclusion, and human resources performance goals, and ensure delivery mechanisms that build trust and meet the diverse needs of employees. Number 2, increasing awareness is key to maximizing the use of care policies among employees with disabilities and employees with dependents with disabilities. Even when corporate care and support policies are in place, their effectiveness depends on the workforce's awareness of them. Companies can integrate care policy into different communication areas and channels, and also use targeted outreach for employees, regardless of gender, who may be less likely to disclose care-related needs. Number 3, inclusive policy engagement empowers employees. So enterprises that regularly review and adapt their care and support policies are better equipped to respond to both disruptions and demographic shifts. Companies can gather inputs on which care needs exist and how policies are working or not working. Where feasible, establish consultation mechanisms such as employee resource groups on disability or caregiver issues. And of course, integrate transparent feedback loops into this process. Number 4, it's important to advance equity in care for employees with disabilities and with dependents with disabilities. These employees often face additional barriers in accessing, balancing, and benefiting from workplace support. For that reason, companies can review policies to assess if they meet the specific needs of those they intend to benefit, and be mindful of overlapping challenges. For example, women with disabilities or single fathers with caregiving responsibilities. Number 5, Supporting the well-being and engagement of employees with care responsibilities is key. So these employees may face additional stress and fatigue when providing care. And while not all employers can offer formal caregiver benefits, companies can increase awareness of existing national or community support services and also offer increased flexibility to employees with care responsibilities for dependents with disabilities where possible. And finally, number 6, bridging the global vision with local implementation is an essential aspect of sound policies. So the effectiveness of implementation of global care policies often varies by country or branch. Adapting policies to local realities and ensure consistency in how they are applied is key. For that reason, it's important that companies ensure consistent application and equip managers with the authority and training to apply policies equitably across regions. We invite everyone to read the report, which is available on the ILO website and the ILO Global Business and Disability Network website.
We'll go to Nigeria, where the Minister of Education, Maruf Tunji Alausa, has engaged thousands of youth in skills acquisition.
We took our time to curate the way this vocational training will be done. We looked at the various trades that we had in the country that people were doing in the name of vocational training, technical and vocational training, from about 86 trades. We narrowed those trades down to about 28. Trades that matter, that we need for our country. Fashion and garment making, livestock, GSM repair, farming, plumbing, tiling. We also worked on creating the curriculum, the course study. We wanted it to be heavily practical based, 90% practical and 20% theoretical. After this has been done, we opened the portal to the nation. Almost 1.3 million people applied within the first 10 days. We had to close it quickly. So of the 1.3 million youth that applied, we finalized about 960,000 youth on that portal. And from beginning, we said this is different. We have a president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that believes so much in the power of our youth. Believes that the youth, they are the heartbeat of this nation. And this president is determined to give them the skills, the opportunities, and the opportunities for them to thrive. People thought, I'm laying this case for you, and I'll ask you, people thought this was another government thing. But this government, when this president makes his promises, ensures those promises are fulfilled. We opened the portal. I've spoken to several of the students. They thought it was just another thing. But we didn't stop. They applied. The application was seamless on the portal. We vetted them. We planned this so that this will not be another era of scam. Every student on that portal, every single student of that 960,000 student youth, we ensure that we got their NIN and we matched it with the BVN because we're going to pay them. We're paying this, the training center, the skill training centers, and the Vocational Enterprise Institute that's training them. Today, we're seeing students being trained. This is the first cohort. We have 250,000 students in the first cohort. Earlier in the morning, I visited another center where we saw students learning fashion and garment making, solar photovoltaic installation and maintenance, and also hospitality. And now we're on the farm here, the Golden Gate Farms, where our students are learning livestock. You've seen me. I went to the poultry. They showed how the working of the automated poultry, how the layers. I've been to the greenhouse, and we went to the fish pond. This is the kind of training this is the way we design it. Hands-on, so that these students, at the end of the tour, by the time they're done with their training, They're fully equipped. We didn't want this to be another training that we just give them skills that won't empower them. And I'm so happy a lot of these students have been to universities. They've been to polytechnics. Now they're getting real life skills. That would really help them to be extremely useful to themselves, useful to the community they live, and useful to the country and the global world at large. And the way we've designed it, we're not just going to train them alone, skill them up alone. We're giving them starter pack. And at the end of this all, we're also going to give them grant to help them start their individual businesses. We don't want this. We want them to be employer of labor. We don't just want them to be job seekers.
Now let's take you around the world as we bring you global updates on labor stories.
Update on labor-related stories. To promote industrial harmony, Kaduna State Governor, Senator Uba Sani, has approved the implementation of 70% of the 2024 Consolidated Polytechnics and Colleges of Education academic staff salary structure, and the Consolidated Tertiary Educational Institutions salary structure for staff of all state-owned tertiary institutions, effective October 2025, as part of his administration's commitment to enhancing workers' welfare and revitalizing the education sector. The approval followed a high-level meeting between the governor and leaders of the Joint Union of Tertiary Institutions, which culminated in the suspension of the month-long strike embarked upon by the unions. Groups under the Organized Private Sector of Nigeria, OPSN, has rejected moves by the Senate to amend the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund, Nsitf, Act, describing it as a dangerous attempt to hijack and politicize the management of workers' social protection funds. The organized private sector members, which include the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, the Nigeria Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, the Nigeria Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, NASME, and the Nigeria Association of Small-Scale Industrialists, NASSI, warned that the amendment threatens transparency, accountability and the very foundation of the fund's governance structure. The OPSN, in a letter to the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, signed by the Directors General of the 5 member organizations, the OPSN urged the lawmakers to immediately halt the legislative process, which has already passed second reading, insisting that the proposed changes would undermine the Nsitf's tripartite structure and violate international labor standards. The letter reminded the Senate President that the Nsitf was founded on a tripartite structure, representing government, employers, and labor, in strict alignment with International Labour Organization, ILO, Convention 102 on Social Security, Minimum Standards, Convention 144 on Tripartite Consultation, and Convention 87 on Freedom of Association and Protection of the Right to Organize. Nestlé's announcement of plans to cut 16,000 jobs globally as part of a sweeping $1 billion cost-saving initiative is likely to send ripples through African markets, where the food and beverage giant maintains a significant footprint. The layoffs, which include 12,000 white-collar positions in management and office roles and 4,000 in manufacturing, logistics, and supply chain departments, are part of Nestlé's global restructuring aimed at boosting profitability and streamlining operations. Philipp Navratil, Nestlé's new CEO who took over in September, acknowledged the scale of the company's upcoming restructuring, saying, "The world is changing, and Nestlé needs to change faster. This will include making hard but necessary decisions to reduce headcount over the next 2 years. We will do this with respect and transparency." Quote. Unions mobilize millions worldwide to defend public services. From Wellington to Washington to the boulevards of Brussels, Public Service International, PSI Global Union members are rising up in unprecedented numbers to fight back attacks on public services. In New Zealand, more than 100,000 workers launched a mega strike for better public services, including tens of thousands of workers from PSA. According to Public Service International, 65% of New Zealanders support the striking workers.
We are struggling and the healthcare system is broken, and we stand with all the unions, teachers, firemen, doctors, everybody. We are compromising patient care because we are struggling and we are not having enough time to cover enough care that we can give to all the patients that they deserve and they need. And that's compromising health for everybody. That's not impacting just us nurses, impacting everybody in the New Zealand government and in the New Zealand soil.
In Belgium, 140,000 workers marched against austerity. In Italy, the National Confederation CGIL organized a national demonstration, Democracy at Work, which took place on the 25th of October, calling for pay increases, investment in education and healthcare, and a true fiscal reform. In the US, 7 million people joined No Kings protests as government authoritarian crackdown escalates and unions are rising together to say, "No Kings. Workers rule." And tens of thousands of registered nurses and healthcare workers in California led a 5-day strike to demand better patient care and wages. According to the Public Service International, nurses, teachers, cultural workers, and civil servants are fighting back with a clear message: public services are not for sale, and workers' rights and democracy are non-negotiable. Union representatives from the chemical sector came together to discuss shared challenges across the sector, from workplace safety and training to the growing influence of artificial intelligence on industrial jobs. On the 13th to the 15th of October, at the United Steelworkers headquarters in Pittsburgh, USA, union leaders representing workers at Dow, DuPont, Corteva, Roquette, Trinseo and Qnity exchanged experiences and strategies to defend workers' rights and shape the future of the chemical industry. Participants included affiliated unions from the United States, Germany, Brazil, the United Kingdom, Turkey, Argentina, Belgium, Spain, and Indonesia. And that is all for now. Enjoy the rest.
Please try to reach us on our social media handles, follow us, subscribe, share, and send us email about any labor stories happening in your country, in your state, and in your continent. Let's do this again next time. I am your host,